Hey, what's going on, everyone? King here, back for another video. So in this video, I want to do a reaction to a black family, or some black families that is, in Memphis, Tennessee, that are fighting for their property, fighting to save their property from a company that wants to install or build a pipeline in their neighborhood. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
This right here used to grow the biggest sweet potatoes. All this down here. She was planting her sweet potatoes. Right on that edge there, that's where the corn was. 3 years to a stalk. Every kind of beans and greens. And right at the edge of that right there, the turnip greens and the collard greens grow real good. It still will grow real good.
This acre of land in South Memphis has been in Clyde Robinson's family for over 80 years.
I don't know what the young people are gonna do, but I would love to see a living quarter for old peoples.
What about a playground, a park?
Well, that'll be nice. It's large enough to make anything you want to.
But the Robinson's family plot sits right on the proposed path of a 49-mile crude oil pipeline that would go straight through South Memphis. Byhalia, the company behind the pipeline, tried to buy a portion of Robinson's land from him, but he refused. So they sued him, along with 9 other landowners, in an attempt to take the land through eminent domain.
Always been somebody over here trying to take what don't belong to them. But now it's taking time is out.
I'm gonna pause there for a second and get my thoughts. You know, you heard the gentleman talk about one of the neighboring families or landowner, including 9 others, sued him, tried to take the land by eminent domain. So, really, in my experience, the only way to, or one of the ways I should say, to protect from land being stolen through eminent domain or purchased through eminent domain is, establish some kind of legal entity, put it under legal protection, or you establish a trust, LLC, or some kind of business organization or organization as a whole, have it registered by the state, and have all the heirs, all the parties that are involved, the families that are involved in this, organize, come together, have articles of corporation, bylaws, rules, operating agreements, something in writing to basically capture how they're gonna operate, how the land's gonna be managed, discuss the legal protection, who has rights to the property, and so forth and so forth, to basically remove that legal cloud over the property. Because so far I haven't heard them talk about those heirs' properties, but they're talking about families. I mean, if this gentleman, is the only heir or only person that's on the deed of property, it's going to be passed down to the younger generation, then fine. But if this is heir property, he's one of the heirs or owners of the property, whose name is not on the actually original deed, then that's the issue. Is that they need to come together, organize, identify who are the heirs to property, who has rights to the property, how the property is going to be managed, and so forth, to ensure that the outsiders, other landowners, developers, and companies can't come in and take this property by any domain.
This pipeline is called the Byhalia Connection. It's a collaboration between 2 energy companies, Valero, which already operates an oil refinery in town, and Plains All American. The pipeline would connect 2 existing pipelines to deliver oil from Oklahoma to Mississippi. The path Byhalia proposed winds down through South Memphis, cutting through several historically black communities. There is a more direct option, but that would cut through predominantly white, wealthier neighborhoods in the north. The energy companies say that the route they've picked is based on factors like population density and the number of vacant lots. They also say they'll compensate landowners fairly. But to Robinson, it doesn't seem fair, and so he and some other residents have decided to fight.
Good morning, Memphis. My name is Justin J. Pearson, co-founder of Memphis Community Against the Pipeline. Thank you, appreciate you.
Justin Pearson co-founded an organization that's fighting the pipeline by convincing the city council to not sell public land.
Trying to stop the pipeline.
I am from Southwest Memphis, 38109, where both my grandmothers lived and my grandmothers are no more. But I want to fight as though they are, because somebody's mother's still there, somebody's father is still there, somebody's grandparents are. It is only when you devalue the people of a place that you're willing to risk their drinking water. Our city council is making some important decisions this morning. They're deciding on whether or not to pass resolutions opposing the pipeline.
It's not just about land. The pipeline is set to run right over an aquifer that supplies clean water to over 1 million people. Byhalia claims the pipeline will be built 4 feet underground, and that is a safe distance above the aquifer. But the EPA has linked both companies to several large oil spills in the past, and many residents don't feel like they can take the oil companies at their word. And that distrust is particularly deep in parts of Memphis that bear the brunt of environmental pollution.
Depending on where you live in Memphis, you will live longer, you will live healthier, you will live a happier life. For 60 years, coal was burned in this community. Currently, Valero's oil refinery is burning in the community. A steel mill is burning in the community. So this pipeline is one example of environmental racism that Westwood and Boxtown have faced for decades.
About that name, Boxtown. It got its name in 1863 from how it was built. The previously enslaved people who settled here didn't have any building materials, so they used old trains.
They took the boxcars and built a community here, and everyone took care of each other. A lot of people worked their whole life to own a little piece of land.
Residents in Boxtown say they've dealt with toxic fumes for decades, from nearby steel refineries, food processing plants, and petrochemical plants. Industrial sites in this part of town account for almost 94% of all the air pollution reported in the greater Memphis area.
The word is always out. Why don't they pull themselves up by their bootstrap? Well, we trying, but every time we get them almost up, here come something else.
Batzel Booker has lived here his whole life and leads listening sessions on his community's concerns.
Mans, could you remove your covers? We come to you, Father, as humble as we know how. When everybody said that Boxtown was the path of least resistance, Father, you said, not my children. We believe you.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to be a rock in these politicians' boots. Not to hurt them, but just to keep them on their toes.
I've been out here 45 years, my husband and we love our land, but they are trying to take it.
This community is the pushover for everything that don't nobody else wants.
In our neighborhood, we wake up in the morning, you can't breathe. We have stomach issues, we have asthma, and we don't know why. And you probably can smell it in the air now.
So they just thought that the most harm it could do was just smell real bad. But that's not the most harm that it really did.
Scotty Fitzgerald grew up in a neighborhood near Boxtown. A University of Memphis study found that the nearby industrial sites could explain why residents here are 4 times more likely to get cancer than the national average. Fitzgerald didn't know that growing up, but she always knew something was wrong.
You could actually see the chemical company from our house. You could look over across the way and see it. See the pipes and the smoke going up. Even the scripture says we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And a lot of them didn't know that with these chemicals came toxic poisoning. They didn't know. Everybody that lived in that house right there on Alta, Alice, Aline, Annette, Jessie B, they all died with breast cancer. Paula Sanford and her sister, they ended up with breast cancer. 2 sisters in the same house. They were young women. They were not older, some in their 30s, some in their 40s. My mother was in her 40s when they discovered she had breast cancer. She had to have a mastectomy.
Fitzgerald owns land that was given to her by her mother, who bought it when very few black women own land. Now she's fighting in court to keep it from being taken through eminent domain and used for the pipeline.
They sent me a packet. We want so many feet, and then when we get it, nobody can come from generation to generation to generation to ever reclaim it. This is the thing they wrote me. Sign here. Who are you to say that to me? After my mother worked, where were you when they were hungry? Where were you when she sacrificed her food sometime? So many billion a year they'll be making, and they offer people peanuts.
I'm gonna pause it there because I want to get my thoughts on this. So, if you remember one of my other videos, I talked about legalized theft, right? These predators that are preying on Arab property, or even just individuals that are black or in some form of minority that own land. They see opportunity to take the land, offer pennies on a dollar for the land to undervalue the property. I believe there's a story where one lady and her husband went to sell her property, sell the home, and it was undervalued. But then when she changed the photos in the house, as a display prior to the home appraiser coming out and the real estate coming out, and there was a different appraised value for the property for her home. But that's the way it is for blacks. And so blacks um, have been harmed, for years, right? And suffered from the legalized theft, from the companies and real estate developers and landowners and realtors undervaluing their property or giving them less money for their property, not respecting them, seeing them that we're ignorant people, but they want us to, as the gentleman said, want us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But yet, when we try to do so, you got individuals that are preying on us, individuals sending these letters, uh, you know, asking us to sell our property or to, hey, we want to take this property. You can't stop us. Especially in my experience of dealing with my family's property. I'm not one spending my money, the time, energy, and effort to preserve and take this property by the legal means, while others have used the opportunity of the lack of law and order. The original owners of the property are dead, so it's heir property. There's no clear title, so they can just come on there and put up a trailer, move on the property, do what they want, this and the third, to include Marion County, the county that the property is situated in. Right? These counties, these land developers, these politicians, whoever, these companies, corporations, they see benefit for acquiring land, they're going to do so because you're stopping progress. If you have land and you own land and it's in the way of progress, you want to increase the size of the road, make more roads to relieve the traffic in the afternoons or in the mornings or whatever, congestion, or they want to put up a new energy plant because it will bring jobs and this and the third, but they're going to put it in a black neighborhood. They're going to do what's better for the environment or better for the county, not so much better for you and your family.
Mama worked her fingers to the bone. I never seen my mother not working. Never. She worked her whole life.
They're not going to care. They're not going to care you worked your whole life. They do not care.
They felt like that we were just going to roll over. But some people would rather die.
That's why it's important to organize.
Than to live like this anymore.
And use the laws
There's a spirit in this place, and it's one that I've been able to witness, particularly as this movement builds, in the landowners and in the community members who say, we will fight Goliath. Took a lot
Good
of
on
courage
this man for
from
organizing and seeing the value
and you know how the story ends.
Going to legal
Goliath
route.
loses.
The city council was set
Undressed
to
in
vote
the city
on
council.
ordinance against the
Even I did that.
We do have an ability to affect the route of this pipeline.
Mr. Pearson,
Good to see you again. The floor is yours.
We know that injustice exists, and we know that that impact is oftentimes felt by those who are lower income and low wealth. And this opportunity that you all have today is creating justice.
All right, with that, all hearts and minds are clear. Ask for a roll call vote on this ordinance.
Pearson and his brother Keyshawn watched as the council unanimously voted to protect the aquifer.
Councilman Warren.
Aye.
Chair Smiley.
Aye. With that, this body stands with the people.
Oh my God, bro! Proud of you, man.
Man, good on that young man for stepping up. Excuse me, for stepping up and doing what he needed to do to protect the lands, to stop the pipeline. I mean, this is what people need to do: is organize. You know, when they see a black man or a group of people as a whole, whether black, white, Asian, Native American, or whatever, organizing and having strength and coming to the council and expressing their rights, their inputs and thoughts on the matter, it's a win-win situation, right? They're fearful of that. They don't want everybody to be organized. They want you to be divided and separated. But, I spent my time, energy, and money trying to get families to see that, trying to do that, even if they don't understand or disagree or they think that it's wrong to go to court or sue family in court. But if family's doing wrong, and not just family, but anybody for that matter, is not doing things right and not following rules and laws or taking advantage of the situation, right, neglecting everybody else's rights, only care about their rights, well, what we're supposed to do? If we can't organize and we can't resolve the issues internally as a group or a family or as a community of heirs, the only way to resolve it is go to court. Because you know what? You can have situations like this, situations where people will be preying on their property, whether it be the county, the corporation, land developers, whoever are coming for this property. Again, I met with a person that sat on the county council, right? Councilman. I met with other landowners, right, that utilize the road to get to their property, going through the woods. If you see on the videos, Jake Hill Road, the road that was damaged. I traveled that road, showing you parts of the property, the woody area of the property. Met with a gentleman, and the first thing he asked me, in front of my uncle and other managers, "Hey, Cliff, what is it that you do?" He's sizing me up, wanted to know, right, who is he dealing with? Where am I at mentally? If I'm intelligent, right? Because you see that how I carry myself. When I come there, it's about business. I speak intelligent. I sound intelligent. I look intelligent. I carry myself differently because you see what's behind me. It's what the military does, or this is what being educated does. Where you go to college, right? You go to a trade school, whatever case may go in the military, you're gonna be a changed person, right? You're gonna think different. You're gonna act different because what? Knowledge is power. Information is power. When you know more, you do better, as it was said to me. So these individuals, right? They see us as a threat, right? That could be a good thing or a bad thing, but we need to organize. Everyone needs to organize, right? And realize how to use the rules and laws on the books to preserve and protect property.
The city council has since voted not to sell public land to the pipeline and to create a set of ordinances to protect the aquifer. But that doesn't do anything about the lawsuits that Byhalia has opened up against landowners. Legal experts say that disputes like this could last for years, and neither side is backing down. Vice News reached out to Valero, Plains All-American, and Byhalia several times for comment. They never responded.
Days before Dr. King came to Memphis, he said the movement lives or dies in Memphis. We know what happened here, right behind me, where a person attempted to kill that movement. We will not allow you! I remember the legacies of so many people whose lives were taken from distant lands and crossed a difficult sea to get to this shore. Their spirits were unbreakable.
There's a storm on the mountain, and it's moving.
And so no matter what this company is trying to do, we're going to keep fighting.
Yeah, I mean, here, I was stop it there. You heard it talk about how there's still lawsuits pending, and that the company is still trying to get this property. Not the company, but actually the other landowners are trying to get the property. Um, and hopefully these families can afford hiring lawyers and can withstand the lawsuits after lawsuit after lawsuit if they're going for years. I mean, lawyers not going to do it for free unless you find a nonprofit organization that's going to sponsor this type of legal action, defense, it being defense for the families to help protect their property, help protect their interest in their property, help protect the community from these corporations that will only profit, you know, what, on behalf of the individuals that live there as they get sick, right? You're polluting the environment. So, I mean, only way to do it is to organize. It's gonna be expensive if they're gonna have a lawyer represent them in the court. They can represent themselves, but as long as they organize and come together, they should prevail. Hopefully, but they use the laws on the books, the rules on the books, to fight for the property because these corporations and these land developers and these uh, politicians are going to use the laws on the books to acquire land. I said it before. Mr. Josh Walden from First Property said it legalized theft, right? They're preying on these individuals and their property. Only way to preserve it and protect it is fight it through legal means, use the courts, organize. It's not safe anymore. Actually, it's never been safe just to pay the taxes on property. It's not just safe. You gotta um, establish some kind of legal entity, legal umbrella, right, to preserve and protect your interest in the property, protect your property. Get insurance on the property in case there's a fire or natural disaster, or even for your home, right? Because people are coming. I mean, again, I'm reading this book I told you before on Partition Act, Heirs Properties Partition Act, right? Um, the FEMA has passed uh, new laws under the Farmers Act that allows people that live on heirs property that do not have a clear title to now receive federal assistance, some kind of aid. Can use their address as a means to get repairs done to their home. If they live in a trailer or a house or whatever the case may be, or even apply for a loan to do repairs in their home or do some upgrades or whatever. Before that could never be done. Before that was never done. Again, that's why I got involved. Family can hate me, despise me, not love me, call me out of my name, be mad and upset about this, but if I didn't do it, if I wasn't doing it, who's going to do it? Because even after telling them, even before I got involved in 2011, before the first lawsuit, which went from 2011 to 2015, I got involved in 2016 and filed a lawsuit to acquire the title in 2017. So from 2017 to 2020, people knew what was going on. They didn't want to come home and get involved. They wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings. They want to, cause any further division and drama. They saying this and saying that. Oh, he trying to do this and trying to do that. Even now, again, you see another video where they accuse me of trying to steal this land, trying to sell it to Walt Disney World for $25 million, with no proof. Call me out my name, call me a liar, call me a fraud, right? Saying this, that, and the third, but yet there's documented evidence of everything. If you've seen, I got Tons of documents. Tons of documents. Right? Tons of documents. Tons of documents. Court records. Right? Records that they had in possession all these years, proving who said what and who did what. But no one wants to listen to each other. I'm not saying that, oh, they're trying to come together, but it's not enough because the property is still at risk. We need to clear the title. And I brought forth a lawsuit to clear the title. Me and my family did because our rights of property were being trampled on. We were being barred from knowing what's going on. We were being barred from going to the meetings. We were not notified about the meetings. And people that sued members of my family had no right doing so. But yet they said that me and my family had no right doing so. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Because if people were doing right from the start, we wouldn't be in this situation. I didn't cause this. And there's evidence of it. So I hope this video was entertaining. Hopefully it was insightful. Hope it was educational. Hope you learned something from it. Leave a like, give a like, share my video, leave a comment, and I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Peace.